In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Mooresville, North Carolina, aka Race City, USA. It's one of the fastest growing suburbs in the entire country. It grew its population by about 30% in just a few years. In this video, let's talk about why people love Mooresville, the pros, the cons, and everything in between here. So let's get it started here. My name is Chris Phillis. I'm a real estate agent here in North and South Carolina, and I help people just like you try to figure out where to live in the area here. All right, so Mooresville, it is really a smaller town. Population was about 30,000 back in 2020. Right now, it's about 56,000 people. It is growing pretty quickly. There's a lot of things that are happening in Mooresville. It lends itself to a lot of different lifestyles, basically. All right, so the median age is 36 years old, which I was really surprised at. Most of the time when we leave the Charlotte area, the median age goes pretty much up to about 40 years old. On average, no matter which direction we go in. Mooresville sits on the northeast side of Lake Norman. Lake Norman is the largest lake in North Carolina. It's the largest man-made lake in North Carolina, and it's the largest of the three here in the Charlotte region. And so that northeast side, now Mooresville has about 270 miles of shoreline on Lake Norman, has the most amount of shoreline and just over 50% of the available shoreline there. So we have a lot of lakefront properties, a lot of multi-million-dollar homes, a lot of NASCAR drivers own real estate. You know, they call it Race City, USA because of its racing roots. And a lot of those teams, they have their headquarters here, right in Mooresville, or close to it. And they, of course, own property up on the lake as well. Those prices can get up to about, $11 million or so. And so you're looking at, really nice properties there. All right, so the household income, the median right now in Mooresville is $88,000. Some websites have it as high as $96,000. Relative to Charlotte, the median household income is $78,000. So it's a little bit higher. Now, niche.com gives Mooresville an A- on diversity. They base that on ethnicity and economic statistics, and it covers a wide footprint. So the town of Mooresville is only about 26 square miles. What they have is an ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdiction, of 72 square miles. And so it extends beyond the town limit and covers neighborhoods like The Point and further out east and north. There's a lot of different parts of Mooresville. It's mainly split up by a west and an east. You have 28117 on the west side, which is where all the lakefront properties are. And then on the east side is 28115, a little bit more affordability on that side. So the cost of living is an 85.5 out of 100. So the US average is 100, but it's a little bit lower. So that's a plus. There are a few things, I guess, to kind of cover anytime we're talking about a place to live. Is it going to be a good fit for you? So the first thing that comes to mind when we're talking about Mooresville, I guess, would be its proximity to Charlotte, and a little bit to unpack there, right? It is close to Charlotte, but it's also, not a place where you're going to be able to just drive to and from uptown quickly. If you're going during the middle of the day, yes, 30 minutes, right? But if you need to go during peak drive time hours, rush hour times in the morning or 5, 6 o'clock at night, you're looking at basically an hour drive. And so for a lot of people, that's a little bit of a challenge. However, but it is close to Charlotte. And so if you don't have to come to Charlotte every day, you can still get the benefits of living close to Charlotte, go to events, go to concerts and sports, professional sports games, or, a night out here or there. You still have really good access to Charlotte, just hopefully not on a daily basis, because it does, it's one of the drawbacks actually. It's just not a lot of people want to sit in traffic for an hour. And so that's something to consider. All right. So the second thing when I think of Mooresville is really just outdoor recreation. You're on the lake or you're close to the lake. Even if you're not living on the waterfront, you are close to Lake Norman. So you have really good access, quick access to enjoy the lake life. You go swimming, fishing, boating, jet skiing, a number of different things that you can do on the lake. As I was saying, it has 270 miles of shoreline there. So it's going to really offer quite a few. There's lots of marinas and boat ramps and things like that. The town of Mooresville alone has 17 parks. One of those, you have Cornelius Road Park, which is not in the town of Cornelius. It's actually in Mooresville. So you can do things like disc golf there. A number of different parks. A lot of those are going to be right close to the downtown area as well. One of the big parks there, I actually have two other smaller ones like Hope Park and Bellingham Park. Now the largest park for amenities, outdoor recreational activities is going to be the Lake Norman State Park. Technically, it's in Troutman, which is a 20-minute drive from north out of Mooresville. But you're a lot closer to the Lake Norman State Park when you're living in Mooresville than you are Charlotte, basically. Now, Lake Norman State Park is the largest public beach on Lake Norman. The site there is like 2,000 acres in total. You can camp there. You have like 38 miles of hiking trails, 31 miles of biking trails. You can rent boats, you can go fishing, you can do a number of different things there. So that's going to be a place to check out. Other outdoor things, and this will be the case almost no matter where you are in the Carolinas because there's a lot of golf here in the region, but you do have multiple golf courses if you're into that. Now, Trump National Golf Course is there. It's going to be a private, very expensive course to be a member there. It's right in the or next to the Point neighborhood, which is like a premier lakefront community. The two public courses, you have Mooresville Municipal Golf Course and you have the Mallard Head. So those are good options. Now, if you're visiting here, or even if you live here now and you want to head up to Mooresville in the summertime, because this is on our bucket list of things to do here soon, is to check out the Carrigan Farm. So Carrigan Farms, they have a strawberry farm there, but the main draw in the summertime is they have a natural freshwater stone quarry that you can jump into and swim in. They have different tiers of cliffs that you can jump off into the water. They have a rope swing that you can jump off in and just other activities. They serve food there. It's an event. It's a thing to do. Bring your phones, take some videos. It's definitely like an Instagram worthy place to be. You can buy tickets on their website, but you might be able to just go there as well, but I would check into that before you go. There'll be a number of different outdoor things to do there. They have various go-kart racing tracks there too. So with it being, a NASCAR, where racing, the roots of NASCAR racing began, you could obviously see why there's multiple different go-kart tracks there. All right, so and there'll be a number of other outdoor activities that you can take advantage of. All right, the next one on the list is going to be just good amenities in terms of retail and like shopping. For shopping, they have the Mooresville Shopping District is a pretty good list of retail shops to go shopping at. So, and that's going to stand out amongst most of the other suburbs that are, an hour or so away, 30, minutes to an hour away from Charlotte. Most of the time, they don't really have a whole lot to offer in terms of retail, places. But Mooresville's going to have a good variety. They're going to have like things like Target, Best Buy, Dick's, Marshall's, things like that. Mooresville Crossing, the Winslow Bay Commons. It's all part of that like Mooresville Shopping District area. You have Port Village Shopping Center there too. There are both a Costco's and a Sam's Club there. Now, what you don't have is Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. You're going to have to drive a pretty good way to get to those places. I believe the closest Whole Foods is in Huntersville, but don't quote me on that. All right, so for restaurants, you have lakefront restaurants like Toucans and a few others up there. Now in the downtown area, which is on the east side. So the downtown is on the east side of 77, and that is it's South Main Street is where all that happens. And they've like really done a lot. The city and governments have done a lot to kind of pump money in there, and you have a lot of newer businesses that have taken over some of these, older textile buildings that just wasn't much going on in for years. Now they're kind of really making a good footprint and presence in these downtown areas. So Merino Mill would be a central place to check out. Right in there is Alino's Pizzeria. It's an authentic Italian style wood-fired pizza. And I guess that they bake their pizzas at 800 degrees and it only takes 90 seconds to make. But that has been ranked as one of the top pizza places in the area on several different lists. So I'd check that out. They also have homemade gelato. And then right in that Merino's Mill is the Barcelona Burger and Beer Garden. And there are a number of other different places in that downtown area. All right, so part of that, I guess the next thing on the list would just be community engagement, if you will. May sound a little corny, but these smaller towns where there is a downtown, where there's businesses that are opening up, you have those smaller boutique, locally owned businesses opening up, they do a lot of community events. And so they'll have various festivals or just things. They'll shut down the downtown area, and they'll have events there throughout the year. And you're going to get some pretty good engagement with the local people that live there. It's very similar to what you may find in like Matthews and Belmont. All right, so let's see. The next one would be the economic growth in Mooresville. It's another big draw or positive about the area. So it has a pretty low unemployment rate there, 3.5%. Now the big headquarters in Mooresville is the Lowe's corporate office is in Mooresville. They employ about 6,000 people. It's the areas that it's Mooresville's largest employer. So, I mean, it's a big draw. Look, North Carolina, we have, I believe it's 2% corporate tax rates. I think it's the lowest in the country. And I believe they're going to make it 0% at some point here. At least that's been the game plan. But it's drawing in a lot of companies to move their headquarters here to save on taxes. And so that's, but Lowe's has an office there. The other big one in there, of course, is the motorsports industry with all of the headquarters and the teams having their offices there. They employ a lot of people. And you have like JR Motorsports is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team, Kyle Busch Motorsports, you have like racing museums, things like that. And that's a whole economy within itself, and they employ a lot of different people. And so that's a big thing in the Mooresville area. You also have NGK Ceramics, Pactive Food Packaging, Lake Norman Regional Medical Center is there, as well as some other medical offices and hospitals and things. And also Mooresville Graded School District. They are one of the largest employers in Mooresville. And that school district is one of the top ranked school districts in the region. And that would be the last thing to mention in terms of a draw or why people are moving to Mooresville. And that's for the educational opportunities. So the area, it has highly ranked schools. So niche.com gives that Mooresville Graded School District an A rating. They actually have it ranked number 5 in the state. A couple of the elementary schools to mention, you have East Mooresville Intermediate and the Brawley School. Those are both ranked an 8 on gradeschools.org. You also have other elementary school, Rocky River. They have a 7 on gradeschools.org, and niche.com gives them an A rating. And for high schools, you have Lake Norman High School. They have an A- on niche.com and a 7 on gradeschools.org. Now, the other thing to know about, if you're not currently living in the area or up to date on the school systems here, charter schools are a big thing. The charter schools are free. You put your child's name into a lottery, and it is a pure lottery. There's no test. There's no priority, based off of when you put your name in. It is a just 100% true lottery selection. There are multiple charter schools that are highly ranked in the Mooresville area. So right in Mooresville, you have 2 highly ranked elementary. You have Pine Lake Prep and Langtree Charter. They're right in Mooresville. You also have good proximity to these 3 are in the top 25 ranked charter schools. They're K through 12 charter schools in the state. So you have Lake Norman Charter, which is in Huntersville, Davidson Day in Davidson, and Cannon School in Concord. All right, now for real estate, what does it cost to live here? Tell me about the home prices. That's what we'll do right now. All right, so as I mentioned, Mooresville split up by 77, and you have a west and an east. West is on the Lake Norman side. All that lakefront property can be obviously more expensive for that. So the median right now for single family, and this is over the past year, 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot, built in 2004 on a 0.6 acre lot. The median price is $765,000, and the high was $10.75 million. And you can see quite a big range on prices up in Mooresville. So if you have a lakefront property, some of these homes are like 10,000 square feet. They're just truly like castles on the lake, basically. Call me if you want to buy one of those, though. 13% of the new listings are new construction on the west side here. So that is going to get you like 4 beds, 4 baths, 2,700 square feet on a 0.64 acre lot, which is interesting that they kept the acreage pretty large, for new construction. The median price is $870 for that, which is pretty good considering that size of a lot and everything. Now on the east side, everything's going to be a little bit more affordable, right? 28115. The median price is for a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,300 square foot home built in 2008 on a 0.24 acre lot is $440,000. So it's quite a bit less on the east side. Now, interesting, this stat here, 44% of the total listings on the market right now in Mooresville are new construction on the east side here. That's a really big number. And so because we're seeing all this growth in the area, there just hasn't been that many not a lot of existing homes in Mooresville. But so those homes on the east side, those new ones, they're for a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,600-ish square foot home on a 0.17 acre lot is $548,000 right now. And so that size of a lot is a little bit more in line with what we would expect to see from a builder. And, that's a really interesting statistic. But if you look at it, there's only 30,000 people living in Mooresville in 2020. With everybody looking to move there just aren't that many options for people to choose from. And so the only thing to do there is to build new homes. All right. So a couple of other things, or I guess one other thing to mention here on this. So the development is happening around that downtown area that's on the east side. One of them that just was approved is called Evolve North. So most of the businesses are on South Main Street, and just on the other side of that intersection of North Main Street, that's where these 166 townhome community looks like they're going to approve everything here. And they're going to be 2-story townhomes with a target price range of $250,000 to $300,000, which is a whole lot better than $548 or whatever for a single family. That would be a big plus. And they're also going to tie this into they're going to have a greenway that ties into Main Street, which makes total sense. And you can see that local governments are doing that throughout the region here. These greenways are going to be connected in multiple different ways, which I really love. Considerations, right? Things to consider if you're really even thinking about Mooresville is a good fit for you. I think the number one thing that you have to think of is the commute and the traffic, basically, right? As I was saying before, sure, you go during the middle of the day, 30 minutes, not too bad. But if you have to go during peak drive time hours, rush hour, it's going to take you 50 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, depending on where you are, how close you are to 77. Now that's to get into Uptown. Pretty much the same time to drive to the airport, 50 to an hour and 10. For a lot of people, that's just a little too much to do on a daily basis. If you go once, twice a week, sure. But to do it every day, it can be a little taxing. So that's something to consider. Number 2 would just be consider the growth there. Anytime you have a lot of that growth happening with not enough inventory, it can be a challenge to find a place. And also too, they are doing a lot of new construction, which can be nice. However, one of the downsides to new construction is that the lots are going to be smaller lots. You're going to be very close to your neighbor. And typically when we look further out away from Charlotte, we get more privacy, more space, larger lots. But depending on where that is, 0.17 acre lots, you're not really going to have likely the yard size that you may desire. But look, there's give and take in everything. So it's really just your personal preference and what your priority list is. All right, last one would be just limited public transportation in Mooresville. We can say that about pretty much anywhere in this entire region, including Charlotte. So we just don't have public transportation to the extent where you could rely on it to get wherever you need to go. We have the light rail here in Charlotte, but it's very limited. It's a one-way and back. Those are the main things that I think of when I am talking to anyone about living in Mooresville here. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments on anything about Mooresville or other cities or neighborhoods, put your comments and questions below, and I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.